Hey guys, I'm Jacob, and today I want to talk about what a human right is. I had a discussion with an absolute maroon today, and he made some arguments that show that he has absolutely no idea what a human right is. And I've decided to make a video about it, not because of him, but because I've started hearing his specific argument more and more just recently, and so I've got a strong feeling that somewhere out there is some propaganda or some psyop that's very effective and is in full gear right now. Let's get right to it and talk about what a human right actually is, because, man, not only is there this new thing going on, but it's very clear that our politicians don't know either. I want to start off by defining what a right is. Now, I don't often like to revert to the dictionary for definitions when it comes to things as important and controversial as a human right, because oftentimes we see political bias in our dictionaries. However, I found this to be acceptable. A right is that which is morally correct, just, or honorable. It is a moral or legal entitlement to have or obtain something or to act in a certain way. So the argument that I have seen popping up recently is people trying to prove that human rights don't exist because if they did, bad things would not happen. That's right. I've heard this multiple times. I am not kidding. And so, for instance, you do not have a right to life because babies in Africa are starving to death. Where is their right to life? Now, this, of course, goes directly into the abortion discussion and a right to life, and people use these kinds of arguments as probably the source of a lot of this propaganda because people want to justify murdering their babies. However, I want to read this again. That which is morally correct, just, or honorable. A right has absolutely nothing to do with what happens. A right dictates whether or not what happens is just or unjust. So we believe that you have a right to life because God created you, which means that you have the right to, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's right there in the, that whole political important document for the foundation of our country. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If God made you and you have the right to live, that means that you have the right to defend your life. You have the right to everything that it takes for you to exist. And what this means is you do not have the right to anybody else's labor. So if you say, I have the right to medical care, what you are saying is, I support slavery. Because if you have the right to medical care, if you have the human inborn right to go to a hospital and to have a doctor fix whatever is wrong with you, you have the right to his labor, then he is your slave. You have the right to nothing that anybody else has. And people like to twist this up and say, oh, well, gun control is a human right because they have the right to be comfortable. You don't have the right to be comfortable. God didn't put you on this earth, and you were not born with the right to be comfortable. Let me read you this exact quote that this dingleberry gave to me and defended. And I want to say this person is not stupid. They are ignorant. They are proud and ignorant. And they are able to use the human language better than this. They are not able, however, for some reason, to define what a verb and what a noun is, even when those things are defined for them. So in a discussion, how this happened, I'm on a political page that I frequently enjoy, sometimes despise, and it's about rights. And this person in question responds, there's no such thing as basic human rights, okay? No such thing as God-given rights. And there's a couple of comments going on there. And I knew immediately that this person just couldn't define what a right is. His response to me, do you have the right to not cancer or heart disease? I did print these off. I copied and pasted them and emailed them to myself and copied and pasted them. Otherwise, I would have screwed everything up in the video because it's so frustrating. But do you have a right to not cancer or heart disease? So, I had this discussion with this person for like 30 comments, just basically trying to explain, like, you're arguing about what is or isn't a right, but you are incapable of defining the word right. Nobody has the right to not get cancer or heart disease. That's life. You were born on this earth, and if you were going to get a disease, that's what was going to happen. Wow. There is no morally correct or incorrect answer to whether or not you naturally get a disease. So what happens to a just person or an unjust person does not define the right. And of course, then he goes and starts talking about the animal kingdom and if this, that, and the other is a right from animals. And the very core and foundation of this discussion is not just rights. It is objective morality and God-given rights. If you don't believe in God, then your morality is subjective. And our entire society right now exists worshiping self and subjective morality. And morality for any person can be what any person wants. And the problem with that is that allows your government to define what is or is not a right, which gives them the ability to do whatever they want. If you do not have God-given rights, then all you are is livestock for your government. If there are no God-given rights, if there is no objective and pure morality, you are owned by your government. And every single time a liberal argues about any topic or point or whatever it may be, anytime they argue with you about your social contract, about the laws that you have to follow because you exist, what they are saying is that you are owned by your government. And this ties into the whole sovereign citizen thing. And I'll tell you right now, your image of what a sovereign citizen is has been very carefully and delicately defined for you and programmed into you by a government that does not want you to believe that you or anybody else is sovereign over your life. And it's very, very easy for me to convince you that you are sovereign. Let's just break it down to the absolute basics. If I am beating you to death, you will understand that you have a right to defend your life because you own your life. Outside of that parameter, it's very difficult for people to understand that they are sovereign over their lives, and it's exponentially more difficult for them to understand that everybody is sovereign. And not only that, that sovereignty is directly tied to responsibility. And so people will try to give up their sovereignty in order to also give up their responsibility. It goes right back to baby murder. You chose to make a decision. You created human life. That human life has inconvenienced you. It is the only completely innocent human life on earth is the unborn. And now because it's an inconvenience to you, you want to murder it. And you want everybody to tell you that that's okay. My body, my choice. It's not your body, bro. You don't have 4 arms and 4 legs. You don't have 2 hearts. You don't have 2 brains. It's quite literally not your body. In fact, if you are the type of person who likes to support murdering babies, chances are you've had a lot of different bodies inside of you. They're still not your body. You can't kill somebody because they're inside of you. You are in this situation because you like having people inside of you. Doesn't make it your body. So, gosh, it's amazing. It's amazing to me that people's minds have been so twisted that a concept as simple as a human right has been lost to so many people. Absolutely insane. Have a blessed day. I'll talk to you in the comment section below.